Hi and welcome to #DevTalk. Thanks for watching. I wasn't planning to, but I felt compelled to share this talk with you. It focuses on an experience that I had several years ago that really showed me how to stay positive in the workplace. I was working in an organization and I remember going to my department confused, perplexed, frustrated, really often. It felt as if the world had flipped upside down when I was in that particular department. On the one hand, you would see some of the employees just slacking off. They were making personal calls when they were supposed to be on the job, and we pretty much knew that they were personal calls because you could hear them. It wasn't an emergency. Or you would have another person basically trying to get a date, chatting up a girl, and the supervisor was right there, just seeing everything, but doing nothing. Because he and these folks were friends, so they did their thing, and it seemed like they were thriving in the workplace. In fact, it seemed like they were rewarded for the stuff that they were doing. And I didn't understand that. Then on the other hand, you had these other employees who were coming in and who were faithful and who were going above and beyond to get the job done. And it just wasn't noticed. It didn't seem like it was appreciated. And in fact, it seemed like it was penalized at times. I simply couldn't wrap my mind around what was happening and how unfair this felt to me. My faith in God has always been the driving force that makes me go to work wanting to be excellent at what I do. It's the thing that causes me to want to be a positive force in the lives of my direct reports, my team, to my peers in the organization I work for. But I was struggling with this. I started changing. I wasn't the upbeat, friendly person that I usually am, and I didn't like it. I felt almost like I was dry, like a dried brown leaf on the ground. And so I decided that I would pray about this. And I got an epiphany. It was a clear mental picture that, for me, perfectly explained what was happening to me. It also showed me what I needed to do. I want you to picture a sandbag kind of hanging from the ceiling like a piñata, and just like a knife piercing the side of the sandbag, and all the sand starts pouring out onto the ground. My internal focus on all the things that were wrong and frustrating, in addition to my internal complaining, had in essence become an instrument that destroyed or depleted my joy. And in seeing that picture, I understood what I needed to do. And these are the three things that have absolutely helped me to stay positive in the workplace. It changed my attitude while I was on this job, and it actually changed my future as well. I want to share these three things with you. The first thing, in essence, was focus on what's good. It wasn't that the stuff wasn't bad. It wasn't that it wasn't frustrating. And it wasn't that I was sticking my head in the sand and ignoring it. But I had a choice to make. Was I going to spend my time focusing on what was bad, which was depleting my joy? Or was I going to shift my focus and focus on what was good? And the fact is that there were a lot of things that were good. I loved my coworkers. They were amazing, authentic people. We cared for each other. We supported each other. We celebrated each other. They made work fun. I had that I could focus on. There were also really good examples around me. There was one particular manager that I simply enjoyed just seeing the care that he took in doing his work. He valued excellence. And that was a great example for me to look up to. There's also the fact, of course, that I had this job that provided me with a paycheck, that helped me to pay for the car, that drove me to work. I had lots of stuff that I could focus on and be grateful about. The second thing is fix what you can. Maya Angelou says, this is a quote that she said, and I think it's very powerful. It says, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude about it. If the situation cannot be changed, you must learn to rise above it. There were some things that I could change and some things that I couldn't. And I needed to focus on the things that I could change. For example, there was an issue in the organization with passing information on to the appropriate people and with training. It was a shift type of role, so you had people in the morning shift and you had people on the evening shift. And what would happen is that things would change in the morning shift, but there was no process in place to share that information with the evening folks. And so they would come in, they were confused, they were making mistakes. And so I basically took the time to pull folks aside and to train them before I left for the day and share with them, hey, this process has changed, this procedure has changed. I got to the place where I started creating manuals and PowerPoint presentations and forms so that I could equip these folks with what they needed in order to do their job well. Number 3, grow where you're planted. I don't know who came up with this quote, but I think it's a wonderful quote. I could choose either to be better or bitter as a result of basically the situation that I was in. And I chose better. I chose to hone my abilities as a trainer and help guide my coworkers. And I also chose to take advantage of courses that the organization offered at a discounted fee and basically hone my technical skills. I knew that I wanted to basically chart a path in the direction that I wanted to go in, or at least be ready for whatever opportunities that would come about. An opportunity did come. For you, maybe the situation is not a matter of just internally complaining and focusing on the wrong things. Maybe it's a situation where you're surrounded by one or more people that are constantly complaining or focusing on the things that are bad or frustrating. You know, that one coworker where they don't like any of their teammates, or they never have anything positive to say about their team, about their manager, about their organization. And I'm not saying that there aren't things to talk about and complain about. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take the time sometimes to vent to someone in your organization, someone that you trust, hopefully, about what's happening. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have the opportunity to say to somebody, that happened and I didn't like it. But all the time, it can't be that you're around this person and all the time they're complaining or focusing on the things that are wrong, because if you're like most people, after a while, that begins to affect you. In fact, there may be somebody that you kind of liked, you thought that they were okay, but you're around this person that's complaining so much that after a while, you start looking at them like, I don't even know if I really like you. It's simply important that if someone begins to have that effect on you and you find that you're changing, to just create a little distance. I'm not saying not to love people because I want you to love people, but some people you kind of have to love from a little bit of a distance, especially if it begins to impact you emotionally, impacts how you feel. The bottom line is this. If you find yourself in a situation where it's just hard to stay positive at work, I'm just making a few suggestions. Fix your mind on the things that are good. Fix what you can and bloom where you're planted. Because you'll find that when you focus on the things that are good, it becomes a whole lot easier to have an attitude of thanksgiving every single day.